What's crack-a-lackin'? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Welcome into episode 35, everybody. I am your host, SleezBall. Today's episode is going to be Stardom, Situm, Tight Ends. I got everything out before this kickoff coming tonight, baby. I cannot wait for this Ravens-Chiefs game. In this episode, I'm going to give a green, a yellow bar, and a red bar. I'm also going to pick a tight end that is ranked inside the top 10 to be a situm based on my projections of defense and stuff like that. And I'm also going to give you a couple sleeper play tight ends for deeper league people. And before we dive into it, guys, make sure you smash that like and subscribe. Turn that bell on. I will be live today also. So if you have any stardom, situm questions at all period, you can drop them in the comments, or I'll also be live 2 hours before tonight's game. I'll be going over stardom, situms through Discord, DFS plays, stuff like that. And let's dive into it here. All right, guys, so here is my board right here. You're going to see a black box in the middle. The one on top is the away team. The one on the bottom is the home team. The versus in the middle. Now, I'm also going to be using points per game but by the defense for 2023 that they gave up to the tight end position. I'm only going to use it for week 1. I know the defenses have changed. I will use the actual defensive scoring metric next week once we hit week 2 and we get some NFL, data statistical we can start using here after week 1. So we're going to start off with tonight's game. The Ravens at the Chiefs. This should be a no-brainer right here. Mark Andrews, Travis Kelce, absolute starts. Even though the Chiefs were 3rd against the tight end last year and the Ravens were 12th against the tight end last year, these are two guys' names that if you drafted in the first 4 rounds, you're 100% starting with the tight end position being about, I'd say top 11 to 10 heavy with, must-start tight ends. But there is a sneaky play here. Isaiah Likely is my pick for the first touchdown of the game in the Ravens and the Chiefs. They're going to use him more. You've seen the updates in the slot as wide receiver. They say he's going to be the second option in the receiving game, which is crazy. And I absolutely love the value, even in drafts and everything, but DFS, best ball, everything you do to get Isaiah Likely in this game. I love all his over props, everything. Give me all the Isaiah Likely I can get. I'm not saying you start him, in a 12-man league. If you're in like a 16-man deep league, you can, but I still love Isaiah Likely a lot this week. Heading down to Brazil, the Green Bay Packers are going to be taking on the Philadelphia Eagles. Friday night lights football, baby. Now for this game, I'm putting Luke Musgrave and Tucker Kraft, who has an injury right now, both on situm. I don't like them versus the Eagles defense and all the weapons the Green Bay Packers have in the wide receiver room. Like, how's the target share really going to play out? We don't know yet. Like, if you've even watched my wide receiver video I just did before this, it is so hard to rank this Green Bay wide receiver room with Romeo Doubs, Dontavian Wicks, Christian Watson, and Jaden Reed. I mean, it's going to be a nightmare to see how it plays out and who you're going to pick weekly. Heading over to the Eagles side, this is where I like Dallas Goedert a ton in this game. Jair Alexander will be on one side of the field. They will have the middle of the field open. The linebackers are the weak spot for the Green Bay Packers, and this could be a massive, massive game for Dallas Goedert, even though, again, the target share is going to be rough with A.J. Brown and Devonta Smith. I see him finding pay dirt and a very, very nice play this week at tight end. Heading into the Sunday slate, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers going at the Atlanta Falcons Dirty Birds, and this one is going to be a double start here for me as well. So Arthur Smith is now the offensive coordinator of the Pittsburgh Steelers. They love their tight end. I know that the Falcons just got Jude on. Their defense got a little better. Still, you're going to have George Pickens, probably 30% target share, and probably a 20-plus, 25% target share for Pat Freiermuth in this offense when your other options are Calvin Austin and Van Jefferson. And we know Roman Wilson isn't in there. It could be in there later, the rookie. But I love Pat Freiermuth. Volume is king. And the same thing when I head to the Atlanta Falcons side. The Pittsburgh Steelers defense is very good. So if I look at it like this, the Pittsburgh Steelers, though, gave up 27 points, though, to the tight end last year. I know Kyle Pitts is quote-unquote hammy, got everyone nervous. He's going to be 100%. He's going to be fine. I think he's going to absolutely smash this season with Kirk Cousins as his quarterback, and I cannot wait to see it, and this is an easy double-start tight end game for me. Oh, my Lanta. 2 of my favorite tight ends in the 2024 season are going heads up. The Arizona Cardinals are headed to the Buffalo Bills. Trey McBride is my tight end 1 on the season, guys. I have been pumping this man for 2 years on Twitter content. You can fact check me if you want. He's absolutely going to shine. So last season, he came in at like week 8 and week 10 and averaged the number 1 points in fantasy football. I know they add Marvin Harrison. People are going to think that takes away targets. No, it does not. If you look at Sam Laporta, he was tight end 1, and Amon-Ra was wide receiver 3. there can be enough passing volume to spread around to have both. Don't buy into that at all. Now, the Kincaid side, this is my tight end one on the week right here. Dalton Kincaid gets the Arizona Cardinals defense. If you've watched any of my other videos, you start everybody versus the Arizona Cardinals defense. They are the league worst. Dalton Kincaid is going to absolutely smash, but there is a little sleeper play here to look at. Dawson Knox. So you got to look at the Bills wide receiver room, right? They lose Stephon Diggs. They lose Gabe Davis. About 253 vacated targets. They bring in Keon Coleman, the rookie. They bring in Curtis Samuel to go with Khalil Shakir. You could see a lot of Dawson Knox. Honestly, he could even find the end zone in this game. If you're in like a deep league or you're looking for a DFS play that's very cheap, I do like Dawson Knox as a kind of dart throw play this week. Not as a starter, obviously 12-man league, but I like him in a lot deeper leagues and a DFS play. The Titans-Bears game is going to be really ugly for me at the tight end position. So you're going to have Chigakonkwo out there. Chigakonkwo, I don't even know if he's even rosterable at this point. He's also, battling for the position. Even though the Bears were 17th, most in points versus the tight end position, I don't think I'd ever feel comfortable ever starting Chigakonkwo, especially with the additions of Calvin Ridley to go along with DeAndre Hopkins, 2 passing backs in Tyjae Spears and Tony Pollard. I'm never starting this guy. He's probably always going to stay red. Now, Cole Kmet's side, this guy was tight end 7 last year, and you're going to be like, why is Cole Kmet in red? Well, Tennessee Titans gave up 4th points to the tight end, the 4th best. They locked down the tight end, and now you have a target share nightmare with Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, DJ Moore, DeAndre Swift in the backfield. I don't like him at all. I mean, honestly, he's even on some of my wires in 12-plus man leagues, and it's just very rough to even think of starting Cole Kmet. Gerald Everett to go along with him is supposed to be splitting, time with him at tight end, so it's even worse. This whole situation I try to avoid with the Chicago Bears this season. One of my favorite sneaky plays at tight end, not just this week, but all season long, is going to be Hunter Henry. So the New England Patriots are headed to the Cincinnati Bengals this week. Now, Cincinnati Bengals were 26th worst versus the tight end. Defense didn't get any better this year. And Hunter Henry now has a wide receiver room that is wide open. And what's going to happen, say Drake May even comes in, or Jacoby Brissett, he is going to be the security blanket. This man was so undervalued. He is going to be out there week 1. There is no injury at all. He made it past the injury through camp. He'll be out there. And they're going to be 90% behind every game. They're going to probably win 4 games, maybe 3 this season, which is why they don't even have Drake May out there right now, because they don't want to throw him into the freaking nightmare that's going to happen for the Patriots. So Hunter Henry is going to have a chance at 10 targets a game. And it's like people don't even know. I love this pick. I love this play every single week, just like Cortland Sutton. If you watch my wide receiver video, same situation, right? Heading over to the Bengals side, Mike Gesicki. Man, even if Jamar Chase is gone, right? Say he doesn't play week 1, say he holds out to play Kansas City week 2, right? I still don't like Mike Gesicki. This guy's never done anything. People get hyped on him. You'd never feel comfortable starting him in a 12-man, maybe like a 32-man league or something like that, or maybe a dart throw DFS play to hope he finds the end zone. I'm out on Mike Gesicki. The Texans are headed to the Indianapolis Colts, and I know that everyone thinks that Dalton Schultz is a decent tight end pick this year. To me, he is not. To me, he is a touchdown dependent because the target share is going to be absolutely insane. So you got to look at it like Stephon Diggs has averaged 30% target share in his career. Nico Collins, 28 last year. Tank Dell, 28 last year. Joe Mixon, even 18% out the backfield. Where is Dalton Schultz going to mix in this at all? I mean, you're literally starting this guy hoping that in the red zone he gets a touchdown. Maybe he'll get 3 catches a game. Like I don't like the volume here at all with Dalton Schultz, and they'll be ahead in a lot of games this year. I'm not saying they're going to blow out the Colts, but this offense is going to be so powerful that they're probably going to run out the clock late in games, like down the stretch of the season. If you own Dalton Schultz right now, I would be trying to move him at all costs to try and, get anyone I see where volume is better. The Colts side is going to be ugly all year long. So Jonnu Smith out for not Jonnu Smith, Jelani Woods, my guy, the man meat, our nickname for him, is out for the season again, back-to-back years. Now they're back scrambling at tight end again with Kylan Granson and Bo Ali Cox. It's never going to be a start for me here either way with any of these guys. Maybe you take a dart throw DFS, hoping they find a fall in the end zone for a cheap play. That's about it with these guys all season long. The Jaguars are headed to Miami, the highest scoring game of the week. Evan Ingram, was tight end 2 last year and was being drafted as tight end 8 or 9 this year. Absolutely bonkers. This man is a must start all the time. Now, why am I so high on him this week as well? He is my tight end 2 this week. The Miami Dolphins have 2 top 10 corners on each side, but it looks like Jalen Ramsey might be having a little injury problem right now. I don't know the full update. I just saw it on my phone. He may not be out there week 1, which would open things up on the outside. But if he's out there, the Miami Dolphins struggle heavily versus the tight end last year. They ranked 23rd, not good at all. They lock down the outside. They don't lock in the inside. Evan Ingram, either way, smash start, even versus bad matchups. I love him all year long. My sneaky play here this week is Jonnu Smith. And I'm even okay starting him in a 12-man league just based on the shootout possibility of this game. I know that if you look at last year, Durham Smythe wasn't used as a tight end. I'm fully aware of that. And then he was out there running wind sprints with 97% snaps. But now put an athletic guy that's 3 times as athletic as Durham Smythe with Tyreek Hill drawing doubles, Jalen Waddle out there, worried about Mostert, worried about Aiken. This man can be running free all season long and wasn't even drafted like it. I like him as a sneaky play this week. Panthers are headed to the New Orleans Saints, and this one is just brutal for me because I love Jatavion Sanders coming out of Texas. I was really high on him in the draft, but you have to look at the situation that he's in. So right now, the New Orleans Saints were also number 16th versus the tight end last year. But right now, if you look at their head coach, who is now Dave Canales, who was from Tampa Bay last year, great head coach, great offensive-minded guy, right, all the way around. But the only thing he doesn't do is give the ball to his tight end. Cade Otton ran the most snaps in the NFL last season at 97%. And did you ever start Cade Otton? I'm never going to start Jatavion Sanders until I see a different look here. Head into the New Orleans Saints side. Taysom Hill, Jawan Johnson. Okay. So when I'm looking at this, Carolina last season was number 7 versus the tight end. Very, very good in the linebacker core. Very good up front. And when it comes to Taysom Hill, he's the jack of all trades. He's either going to give you 20 or he's going to give you 0. So that's why I have him in yellow. If you want to take that shot, you know, you could, I hope you're not using him at QB. Let's be honest. You know, this guy could throw passes. He can run. He's probably, you know, QB tight end in a bunch of platforms. But if you want to take that shot, that is up to you. I am not that guy that likes to take that risky shot, especially in week 1. I want to come out and get a dub and feel confident. Jawan Johnson as well. He had an injury all camp. I don't feel comfortable starting him. And again, the Panthers are very, very good versus the tight end, and I think it's going to be an Olave-eat game here instead of these guys. The Vikings and the Giants, this tight end situation, man, is just brutal here. So, I mean, the Vikings are going to roll out Josh Oliver or Munt. I mean, either one, you're not even starting. They're both on the waiver wire. You're not picking them up. TJ Hawkinson is on the pup. Probably, they're going to say he's probably back week 7, maybe ramped up like week 10. So that's why TJ Hawkinson was a very tough draft for me all year long as well, unless it's like a keeper league or something like that. They're going to really, really struggle here at the tight end position. I wouldn't even, I mean, usually I'm like, maybe you could use this guy in a dart throw to fall in the end zone. I don't like any of that with the Vikings. But interesting to the Giants side here, Theo Johnson, the rookie out of Penn State. I mean, depending on how, it's still Danny Dimes, right? But depending on how this offense looks, there could be some targets available for him. So, you know, you're going to have Neighbors who's going to get fed. You're going to have, you know, Wandale at the slot who's going to get fed. But doesn't mean you can't see 4 to 5 targets for Theo Johnson. I mean, maybe fall in the end zone here. You get the Vikings defense here. The Vikings were also top 10, number 8 versus tight end last year. But again, this is going to be a grudge match. I don't love the start, but I mean, if it's a deep league or something, or, you know, DFS, you want the dart throw, I'm with it with Theo Johnson for, you know, a shot in the dark play. The division rivalry of the Raiders headed to the LA Chargers. Brock Bowers, man. I was fully out on drafting Brock Bowers at ADP in the draft, and I got to say, I've changed my tune just after watching the preseason. The way they've used this, man, they line him up as a wide receiver. They line him up in the slot. They line him up inline tight end. They line him up at tight end. They line him up in the backfield. They didn't just draft this guy with the 13th pick when it miraculously fell into their lap thinking, oh, we have Michael Mayer as well. No, this is a superstar, phenomenal, probably the best tight end and forever coming out of college that I can remember. He is going to be used all over the place. When it comes to Michael Mayer's side, I'm not really even thinking about him anymore now that Brock Bowers is there. I know they'll run more 12 personnel. I know they'll run more 2 tight end sets. They want to run the ball here. But the Chargers are very good against the run. The Chargers were also 14th versus the tight end last year. But I think the Chargers defense got worse in the offseason. And I'm calling it right now that Brock Bowers is going to score on his opening day as a rookie. Heading to the Chargers side, this is like the Vikings, but even like in a worse, not a worse way, but like better talent, worse way. Hayden Hurst and Will Dissly. We don't even know how the snap share is going to play out. And you like have to love the tight end position with the Chargers. And I just can't even get around it. Both these guys should be on the wire. I'm not even thinking about starting either one of them. But these guys, I'm not fully out like the Vikings. You could throw them into your DFS, maybe get a touchdown here or there, get lucky. I don't like starting them at all though in redraft. One of my favorite sleeper plays is here that I was telling you from the beginning. The Broncos are headed to the Seattle Seahawks. Now, Greg Dulcich. If you guys remember this guy as a rookie, he was unbelievable when he hit the scene. He had his hamstring, had a couple leg injuries here and there. And this guy was the second Mackey Award finishing college tight end at UCLA, and people forget how talented he is. And now, all you have is Cortland Sutton against you. That's it. That's pretty much the only guy that's going to see a monster target share. This is a wide open, great sleeper. He could be on your wires right now. I like him as a tight end too, 100%. And you're going to find out why if he could just stay healthy. Headed to the Seattle Seahawks side, Noah Fant, I do not like in this game. So the Noah Fant reason why I don't is because you have so many wide receivers, right? And I know they've said that Noah Fant's going to be more part of the offense this week and he'll be more involved. And Denver was also worse versus the tight end, but I just feel like this game's going to get out of hand so fast with how good the Seattle's offense is going to look that you're not really going to need to use Noah Fant at all anymore. And it's going to be the K9 show down the stretch. The Dallas Cowboys are headed to the Cleveland Browns. And this, if you watched my video before where I said that CeeDee Lamb is going to struggle in this game, this is the only player that I am comfortable starting for the Dallas Cowboys this week and every week on, even if CeeDee's, back to healthy next week. Jake Ferguson. So Jake Ferguson, you have CeeDee Lamb off a holdout, right? He's like, oh, he might be on a little snap count. He might be a little rusty, not working with the team. That's probably going to happen in week 1. He's also going to draw Denzel Ward, the number 1 defense in the Cleveland Browns. And Jake Ferguson, this could be his game where he sees volume just through the absolute roof. Yes, Cleveland Browns were top 10 versus the tight end last year, but the Cowboys are going to have to pass somewhere. And if they focused up on CeeDee even off a holdout, I think Jake Ferguson is in for a monster game. And with the Cowboys running back room being absolutely terrible, their offensive line losing a couple pieces, it's going to be such a pass-heavy attack in Dallas that you're starting Jake Ferguson every single week. To the Njoku side. Now, with David Njoku, I did a bunch of research on this. I've dropped a couple tweets, if you follow my Twitter, whatever. Deshaun Watson doesn't target his tight end. He targets his tight end at a 4.2 rate in his entire career. Now, are those tight ends as good as David Njoku or as talented? No, they are not. But you have Amari Cooper, you have Jerry Jeudy, and and you're playing the Dallas Cowboy defense this week. This is like one of my number 1 sit-ups. They're number 13 versus tight end last year. And I just feel like this is going to be such a grunge, ugly game here. And I firmly believe the Cowboys are going to lose this game in a struggle fest, but David Njoku, I cannot start him this week. The Commanders and Jaden Daniels' debut is almost here. They're going up against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And this game is like one of those really, really interesting tight end games to me that it's very tough to call here. So they did say that Zach Ertz is going to start. I'm going to put him in yellow, Ben Sinnott in yellow, and K. Dotton in yellow. Talk about them all here. Zach Ertz is going to get the start. They've even said that Ben Sinnott may play a little bit in the slot here because you got to realize that Terry McLaurin is really their only good receiver they have. You could probably see Luke McCaffrey, Zacchaeus, maybe Downey Brown, but Ben Sinnott is better than these guys. So it's very tough for me to even rank this situation right now. It's like I wish like Zach Ertz just got hurt and Ben Sinnott would be the guy that can be a smash start every week. But we don't have that situation. It has, it's not there. Zach Ertz is 36. The possibility is there. His injury history has been a lot bad, gotten worse as he's gotten older. And you got to look at like the Tampa Bay. It's their defense is terrible. And it's just hard to put these guys in green because there's a double. And I don't know how it's going to go, but I really love the matchup here for both sides. I mean, then you go to K. Dotton's side and you look at how bad Washington's defense is. They're the freaking worst, but yet last year they were 8th versus the tight end. And now that's, now you have, like I said before, with Dave Canales gone, you have Liam Coleman from Kentucky, and Kentucky is going to run fast-paced offense. Hopefully we see a little different look for K. Dotton, but the opportunities are going to be here in this game. It's just too hard to judge for me. I'm putting them all in yellow as you could, 12-man league, deeper league dart throw him in at tight end if you needed. I'm fine with him in DFS too if you want to try and hit on one of them. I just don't know how it's going to go, and this one's very, very hard to call. The Matthew Stafford revenge game. The Rams are headed to the Detroit Lions. Now, I know you got Tyler Higbee on IR, so we'll throw that out there first. Colby Parkinson is an interesting play to me, but not this week. And I love starting all the Rams because, like I said, the Rams defense is one of the worst in the league. Like, if you've seen any of my other videos, I'm like, you smash everyone against the Rams, right? But in this game, the Detroit Lions were number one versus the tight end, and now their defense has gotten even better since last year. And I just don't like starting anyone, especially versus this defense. Can he see a possible DFS dart throw play? Yeah, I'm okay with that with Colby Parkinson just because you have McVay and he could scheme up something. He's one of the greatest offensive minds, but I don't like him as a start at all. The Rams side, Jesus. Saporta. Shout out to Disco, the number one tight end as a rookie, which was absolutely bonkers. You're starting this guy every single week, no matter what. And the matchup is insane, guys. The Rams were 26th versus the tight end last year, and they got even worse by a mile on defense. It's so bad. Them and the Cardinals are the two worst defenses in a while. You're smashing everyone against this team. You're smashing Laporta every week, no matter what. But this is like the best matchup you can get for him. The Monday Night Mayhem, the Jets are headed to the 49ers. Both these defenses rank in the top 5, but there is something to talk about here. Now, Tyler Conklin, do not even think about starting this man. Fred Warner's in the middle. 49ers were number 2 against the tight end. Don't even think about taking the shot unless you want to play a cheap DFS play and hope he gets a random touchdown somehow that's a fluke. That's fine with me. I'm not against it because he's out there a lot. George Kittle. He is one of my favorite smash play tight ends this week. The New York Jets were 25th versus tight end, and they have the 2 best corners, and they struggle in the middle of the field. And George Kittle diddle down the middle is going to have a monster game. Shout out to the 49ers. We're going to get this dub. That is it for episode 35, guys. My stardom, sit-em, tight end, and I got everything done before the NFL kickoff here. I cannot wait for this Ravens-Chiefs game. It is going to be lights out. Do not forget that I'm going to be live 2 hours before the kickoff, going over start, sits, DFS, pick'ems, looking at people's lineups in my Discord community, all of that. Here to help you guys win your matchups and get that ultimate goal of that fantasy football trophy. And before we head out, guys, make sure you smash that subscribe button, hit that like, turn them bells on so you know when I'm live and when you know I post content. And if you have any questions regarding anything fantasy football, doesn't have to be related to this video, stardom, sit-ems, trades, anything like that, always drop them in the comments. I try to answer everything as fast as I can. And I can't thank you guys enough for all the support. I will be my next video, like I said, I'll meet you in the next video. That will probably be my waiver wires come Monday. I will be live the rest of the week for the games. I hope to see you guys in there. SleezBall out.